Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. Today, the Polish Minister of Foreign Affairs, Jacek Czaputowicz, presented his review of Poland's foreign policy since 2015 to the lower chamber of the Polish Parliament. The priorities for foreign policy remain a strategic partnership with the United States and NATO in the field of security, strengthening Poland's position in the European Union and in the Central and Eastern Europe region, and ensuring energy supply security.
Today's speech by the Minister of Foreign Affairs was not only a summary of the past year of the Polish foreign policy, but also the last 4 years of the Law and Justice government's actions in this area. The head of the ministry also presented the most important goals of Polish diplomacy for the next year. The most important, unsurprisingly, was related to European Union affairs, although, as Jacek Czaputowicz said, that community needs changes. EU institutions should act on the basis of competences mentioned in the treaties. Controversy also raises the majority vote. Everyone must have the opportunity to express their opinion on each country. It is not permissible to make EU payments dependent on a subjective assessment of the rule of law in a given country. It is important to note that there are no clear guidelines for how such an assessment is made. The head of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs added that the exit of Great Britain from the EU without an agreement would be the worst scenario. He pointed to Germany as the most important partner for Poland from the European Union countries. This year was very busy when it comes to cooperation between Poland and Germany. We have defined priorities. According to Minister Czaputowicz, a strategic alliance with the United States and cooperation in NATO is of key importance when it comes to Poland's security. Increasing the presence of American troops in Poland as a way of strengthening the eastern flank of NATO. New joint initiatives in this area of security and defense, such as the installation of rocket systems at the Redzików base. Czaputowicz also commented on the tense relationship with Israel. Regarding relations with Israel, we believe that the signing of a joint declaration by the Prime Ministers of Poland and Israel in June 2018 closes last year's dispute over the amendment to the Act on the Institute of National Remembrance. In this context, we note with sadness and consternation that some Israeli politicians still make unjust accusations against Poland and Poles. Unfortunately, this is also the result of many years of neglect in the field of historical politics and the lack of adequate responses to the world's vilification of the image of our country, which has led to the strengthening of false stereotypes. The Visegrad Group and the Eastern policy, including Russia and cooperation with Ukraine and Belarus, are other priorities and challenges of Polish foreign policy. Russia's actions are unacceptable. We have to build strong relations with Ukraine, also historical relations. We also demand a return of the Tu-154M plane wreckage. After the Minister of Foreign Affairs exposé, a statement was made by President Andrzej Duda. We can say that in the major aspects of the foreign policy, the minister named 3 alliances Poland is a part of, namely NATO, the European Union and the United Nations. A few newspapers questioned the idea of a permanent base of American troops in Poland, referred to by some as Fort Trump. Both the Polish President and Minister of National Defense expressed their opinion that Poles needs the base to be built. The plenary chambers were empty during Foreign Minister Czaputowicz's exposé, which says a lot about the quality of Polish parliamentarism.
The Polish Episcopate has published a report about paedophilia in the Polish Catholic Church. According to the information presented today by the Deputy Chairman of the Episcopate, Archbishop Marek Jędrzejewski, the Church authorities have received 382 submissions about the sexual exploitation of minors since 1990. 198 cases involved children under the age of 15, and more than half of all cases involved boys. 1/4 of the cases investigated resulted in the expulsion of the perpetrators from the clergy. Members of Gazeta Polska clubs from all over the world are on their way to Hungary. The trip, organised by Gazeta Polska branches throughout Poland and abroad, is timed to coincide with the celebrations of the Hungarian national holiday on March the 15th.
The train carrying Gazeta Polska club members left Warsaw Central Station at 4 p.m. This is the 7th time that the Gazeta Polska club has organized an all-Poland trip to Hungary. We are building a movement which is supposed to renovate Europe. We want to get back to the values of Christianity on which our countries were built. Participants of the trip will arrive at their destination on Friday morning. On this day, Poles will take part in official celebrations of the Hungarian national holiday and place wreaths at General Józef Bem's memorial. They will also pay tribute to Katyn victims in Budapest. The editor-in-chief of Gazeta Polska Weekly and the organizer of the trip, Tomasz Sakiewicz, says the Hungarian national holiday is also a holiday of Poles.
This
wasn't the fight for freedom of Hungary, but also for Poland's freedom. This tradition has survived. We are renewing it today in a different form because Polish-Hungarian cooperation concerns a new European project, the cooperation of people who love their homeland, want to unite and remember about their identity. This is the second time that Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki has become a patron of this event. Morawiecki will meet the participants of the trip tomorrow in the Hungarian capital. We always fought for freedom with Poles. In the 19th century, Poles were fighting on our side. Now they are coming here to celebrate together with us our national holiday. This holiday is the holiday of Poles as well. It is an honor for us that Polish Prime Minister will come and give a speech. Polish-Hungarian friendship has endured forever. We've been defending our freedom and Christianity for centuries. We see many Polish flags during Hungarian national holidays, and we see that our friendship sees the future. We are happy that we have such good friends in Hungary. The future is better for Poland and for Hungary. The uprising, which was part of the revolutions of 1848, began on March 15, 1848. The Hungarian Revolution was supported by Poland. General Józef Bem was the leader of the main forces of the uprising.
Boeing of the United States, the producer of the 737 MAX 8 aeroplane, has announced the suspension of all flights of the aircraft. Two 737 MAX 8s have crashed within a few months of each other, most recently near Addis Ababa on Sunday, causing the deaths of 346 people in total. The aircraft will remain grounded until the causes of the accidents are known.
In a specially published statement, Boeing company emphasized that it still has full confidence in the safety of 737 MAX 8 aircrafts. However, after consultation with the Federal Aviation Administration, the National Transport Safety Board, and aviation authorities and customers around the world, it decided to ground all 371 aircraft currently in operation. Earlier, airlines around the world, including Polish LOT, had decided to ground their 737 MAX 8 aircraft, which had also been banned from flying in European and other airspace. The US authorities had delayed following suit, but President Donald Trump finally announced the grounding last night. In the US, these airplanes are used by American Airlines, United Airlines and Southwest Airlines in their fleets. Last Sunday, March 10th, a Boeing 737 MAX 8 from Ethiopian Airways crashed a few minutes after takeoff. 157 people were killed in the crash. It was the second catastrophe of this aircraft model, which ended commercial operation less than 2 years ago. At the end of October 2018, another 737 MAX 8 crashed in Indonesia minutes after takeoff.
The British Parliament continues to battle over the future of Brexit. After 2 days of voting in the House of Commons, it seems almost certain that the United Kingdom will not leave the European Union under the deal negotiated by Theresa May's government. While the Commons also rejected the idea of a no-deal Brexit, it remains unclear what will happen next.
Order! Order! The Commons rejected yesterday's motion for United Kingdom to leave the European Union without a deal by just 43 votes. Nevertheless, a motion known as Spellman-Cooper was passed, excluding the possibility of a no-deal outcome in the future. The Conservative Party lacked unanimity.
Choices that this House faces. The legal default in UK and EU law remains that the UK will leave the EU without a deal unless something else is agreed. The onus is now on every one of us in this House to find out what that is. The options before us are the same as they always have been. We could leave with the deal which this government has negotiated over the past 2 years.
The Labour Party remains strongly against the no-deal Brexit option. According to the party's leader, Jeremy Corbyn, such a scenario could have dire consequences, not just for the United Kingdom.
The Prime Minister said the choice was between her deal and no deal.
In the last 24 hours, Parliament has decisively rejected both her deal and no deal. While an extension of Article 50 is now inevitable, the responsibility of that extension lies solely and squarely at the Prime Minister's door.
A motion on an extension to the current deadline for the United Kingdom to exit the European Union, March 29th, will be voted on this evening.
Brexit now! Brexit now!
That's it from the news. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the weather and Poland Daily Business and more besides. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.